What is it with this show and its cliffhanger season finales? Hello, SpongeGex here, and I just watched the second season of the Cuphead show on Netflix. Overall, I thought it was funnier and crazier than season 1. There were a few gripes I had with it though, but it was decent overall. My biggest problem is with the character Cuphead himself. I get that he's a troublemaker, but he's downright unlikable now. He was at his worst in the episode where he was supposed to gather firewood for the winter, but has a running gag of blowing everything important up with a rocket. Whatever happened to Rules of 3? The episode in question felt like a parody of the old story of the grasshopper and the ant, with Cuphead clearly being the role of the grasshopper. Unlike that charming old story, Cuphead does not learn his lesson of hard work first and play later, and ends up locking Mugman outside to freeze to death. The episode ends with him launching Mugman with a rocket. That episode left a real sour taste in my mouth. It is arguably the worst episode of the season, in my opinion at least. Similar to Season 1, this season had plenty of very cliche episodes you've seen done to death in nearly every TV show made for family audiences. You have the typical brothers/best friends get mad at each other and try finding a replacement brother/best friend, and the ever so tiring cliche of one character keeps getting warned not to do something, but the ignorant character, Cuphead, ends up doing it anyways, and everyone gets screwed in the process. Most of these cliched episodes were very boring to me and felt done to death. However, when the episodes were good, they were good. There were 12 episodes added this season. Overall, the season was more insane than the last, including more characters and references to the video games it's based on. The first episode picks up right where Season 1 left off, where Cuphead and Mugman are locked up in prison for breaking into a cookie factory, after Miss Chalice bailed on them. I was expecting her to come back and break them out, but she doesn't show up until the following episode. The episode wasn't anything special, but it did have a few chuckles, mostly the montage of them breaking out and then their punishment right after. It was pretty funny. It was mostly an episode of Cuphead plotting to escape while Mugman wants to embrace serving his time. The episode ends with Cuphead giving up, which surprises Mugman. To cheer Cuphead up, Mugman decides to come up with an escape plan, which ends up succeeding, thanks to his befriending of the biggest and most threatening prisoner. While most of the season ignores the fact that the two broke out of prison, I was surprised to see they do come back to it later and give them a punishment for breaking out of prison, basically. And that's not until an episode called Say Cheese, which I'll get more on that later. In the second episode of the season, we get the return of Miss Chalice, where she tries hiding out the boys, after she claims an angry mob is after her, after they realize she was trying to swindle them in Season 1 finale. Cuphead still thinks of Miss Chalice as a friend, while Mugman thinks she's just using them. Chalice apologizes for getting them locked up and wants to spend more time with them, and have fun. Eventually, Chalice confesses that there is no mob after her, and she just wanted to spend more time with them. Then the actual mob surrounds Elder Kettle's house demanding Chalice. Chalice then mentions, she lied about there not being a mob too, and so, the boys still learn that she's a pathological liar, I guess, and the boys try standing up for her anyways, but the mob won't calm down, and Chalice vanishes again. Feeling ticked off, the mob decides to try attacking Cuphead and Mugman for letting her get away. But Chalice does the right thing, comes back, and uses her ghost powers to pick up one of the mobbers' clubs and scare everyone off. Chalice then reveals herself to Cuphead and Mugman that she's a ghost. The two get scared. End of episode. Overall, it was a fun and kind of funny episode that somewhat gave Chalice a bit of a redemption towards Cuphead and Mugman at least. And it's not the last we see of her. We at least see her in one more episode. I kind of wish we saw a little more of her, but in a later episode of the season, the three come up with a scheme to earn some cash. Chalice will go around in her ghost form and scare people, while Cuphead and Mugman pose as ghost hunters who will catch her for the right price. The scheme goes well until they haunt an actual haunted house. Chalice accidentally unleashes 4 trapped vulture ghosts who are sealed inside paintings. Kind of remind me of Luigi's Mansion, honestly. The boys have to free Chalice from the painting and get the 4 ghosts back in the painting before midnight, or Chalice will be trapped in there forever. Chalice was a real fun character, and it's a shame she only got 2 episodes out of this 12-episode season, but still better than the first season, I guess, where she was only there for the Season 1 finale. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said about King Dice, who did not get more screen time this season. He is in there, but even less. In fact, I don't know, it's like he was only in 1 episode in Season 1, and he only gets 1 episode this time, but you could argue he had even less minutes of screen time compared to Season 1. alongside the Devil. Well, the Devil gets like 2 episodes this time compared to multiple episodes like he had in season 1. But either way, his presence was still great, though. I wish I could say the same about King Dice. I love how they got Wayne Brady to voice him, but I just feel like every time he shows up, he just doesn't do much. At least compared to season 1, where he was an evil game show host that failed to capture Cuphead. In season 2, he was sent by the Devil to assist some demons in capturing Cuphead, as he and Mugman explore a Halloween-themed maze. The king decides to sabotage the other demons to try and capture Cuphead himself and take all the credit, but of course he fails in the end. Admittedly, the ending did get a good and hilarious laugh out of me. I'm not going to spoil the whole payoff, but the Devil sends the Horsemen of the Apocalypse out to retrieve Cuphead's soul, and the payoff is hilarious. Along with the Devil finding out shortly after that his 30-day retrieval of Cuphead's soul has expired, and he can no longer legally pursue it. Still not the last time we've seen him, though. We won't see him again until the Season 2 finale. Not only do we get a lot more boss characters this time, but we even got some crossovers. One boss meeting with another to tell a story, and it was pretty fun to see that, seeing how these different characters can interact or work off each other. Remember that one pirate boss fight that felt like a tribute to Bluto from Popeye? Well, in one episode called High Seas Adventure, he's in love with the giant mermaid character Cala Maria. It was interesting to see these 2 separate boss characters be in the same story, yet work so well due to their connection with the ocean. That episode was probably my favorite of the season. It was very different, not only with it being an actual adventure that goes through a few locations to tell its story, but the fact it's the longest episode in the series so far, and it didn't feel like one that dragged on either. It kept me entertained throughout, and most episodes range from 9 to 14 minutes, where this episode was 24 minutes long. No build up to having such a length either. It just happens to be the 3rd episode of the season, yet it feels like a double-length TV special. In this episode, the Cup brothers end up on the captain's ship and accidentally cause it to set sail, unaware that the captain was in his quarters the whole time. Cuphead begs the captain to let them go on a high seas adventure with him, while Mugman begs them to turn around and let them go home. The captain surprisingly wasn't as villainous as he was in the game. He's just a lonely man longing for a loved one, and not in a creepy way either. He just wants to give Cala Maria a box of sweets and ask her to be his girlfriend. The captain agrees to give in to the boy's request after they help with him wooing his beloved. Of course, the courtship does not go well, as Cala Maria zaps him with her eyes and turns him into stone. Determined to still keep his promise, Mugman pushes forward to deliver the stone-turned captain to Cala and deliver the sweets to her, ironically falling for her in the process. Despite falling in love with her, he still puts his promise first and tries to explain the situation to her. So, the episode was just hilarious, well animated, and I liked it overall. It was fun. Another crazy boss-themed episode is the one where Cuphead finds Baron von Bonbon's Land of Sugar. The Baron character was the funniest and arguably creepiest character of the show. You know right away she can't be trusted, but her voice and over-the-top animations made her a delight to watch, as she tempts Cuphead to eat whatever he wants in her Candyland. Even with the 2 ground rules she lays down, you can still see her tempting to make him want to break those rules. Cuphead wises up and realizes she's just trying to fatten him up and eat him like in Hansel and Gretel, but she claims she only eats sweets. As soon as she said that, I knew exactly where this episode was going, and yep, in the end, eating the sweets curses people and turns them into candy, and then, of course, you'll try eating them. And so, Cuphead and Mugman turn into a gummy Cuphead and a gingerbread Mugman in the process, as the 2 try escaping from the Mad Baroness. While Mugman is mostly the straight man of the series, he got a few darker and crazier out-of-character moments this season, which honestly, I liked seeing this side of Mugman. It's still better to watch than the jerk behavior of Cuphead. In one episode, Mugman fakes being sick so he can stay at home and read a romance novel, as he fantasizes himself as the hero and Cala Maria as his lover. His fantasy is constantly interrupted by the jingle of a creepy and over-friendly ice cream man who keeps showing up in front of Elder Kettle's house. We see Mugman slowly losing his patience and sanity every time the ice cream man shows up, to the point where he laughs hysterically and attacks him at the end. Another case of Mugman going mad is the episode where he tries performing well for a piano instructor, so he has a chance of performing in a show and winning a huge cash prize. But when Cuphead shows up out of nowhere and plays a little song he had in his head, the instructor is impressed and hires Cuphead instead. Throughout the episode, we see Mugman get more jealous of Cuphead to the point where he sabotages the stage before the performance. He sets up a trap to drop a safe on Cuphead as he performs. As Mugman heads home, he's surprised to see Cuphead laying around outside. Cuphead says the instructor was a no-show, and so the two turn on the radio and tune into the piano recital. They overhear the instructor stealing Cuphead's song and taking credit for it. The episode hilariously pays off as the two brothers hear the sounds of the loud safe crashing into the instructor and stopping the performance as everyone gasps in shock. Cuphead realizes what Mugman tried doing and says, "I probably would have done the same thing." In another crazy episode called Say Cheese, Elder Kettle wants to get a family photo with the two Cup brothers, but the two won't stop fighting. Cuphead wants to go to the amusement park, and Mugman wants to go to the movies. Elder Kettle lies and says that he'll take them wherever they want to go if they participate with the photo. As the family tries taking a photo in front of a sunset billboard, the Cup brothers start fighting again and accidentally tear up the billboard, revealing an old billboard underneath that showed Elder Kettle as a baby model called Diaper Baby. The brothers laugh it off as Elder Kettle gets furious at the sight of this haunting memory. He ends up burning the billboard with a blowtorch. Eventually, the boys laugh over the thought of the picture of Elder Kettle as a baby and can't wait to get the photo printed off the camera. The rest of the episode is mostly of the three fighting over the camera until they accidentally break it and ruin the film. The boys go back to arguing with each other. Elder Kettle then snaps and starts chasing them violently with a fire poker. This scene kind of shocked me. This felt very out of character for Elder Kettle, but it's almost the point where I don't blame him for snapping like that. And so eventually some of the police bees from the video game show up and identify Cuphead and Mugman as the escaped prisoners, and identify Elder Kettle as a criminal known as the Diaper Baby Billboard Burner. So the three get arrested and are lined up for a mugshot, as Elder Kettle is just happy to finally get his family photo after all. What an insane episode. The season finale has the devil trying to lift his spirits up after being forced to give up on pursuing Cuphead. He decides to visit the mortal world and get his mojo back by causing terror on mortals. He accidentally loses his magic pitchfork in the process, which winds up in the hands of both Cuphead and Mugman, as the two go around terrorizing the town with its powers and having fun. The episode ends with another huge cliffhanger, where the devil confronts Cuphead. Cuphead refuses to give the devil back his pitchfork, realizing that as soon as he has it back, he'll just try to steal his soul. After the devil accidentally slips out the truth that the soul retrieval has expired, Cuphead laughs it off. The devil gets back at Cuphead by grabbing Mugman and sending him down an elevator to hell with him. And the episode ends with Cuphead looking horrified. To be continued. While not perfect and very chaotic and sometimes dark, I really enjoyed Season 2 overall. While the animation was still great, I felt like Season 1 was slightly better animated. It had better visuals overall. It just had cooler looking shots and moving camera angles. Where Season 2, it felt like it had less technical, flashy visuals, but still good overall. Season 2 seemed to have a lot less parodies and nods of previous animations from the likes of Fleischer and Disney, which was kind of unfortunate. That was one thing I liked spotting out in the first season. It was kind of a shame that you saw less of that. But at least we got more appearances from the bosses and music from the actual game. It's always fun to see how the show writers will fit these characters from the game and see what they'll sound like or what they'll do in the actual show. While we currently have at least 21 episodes of the show, it is confirmed that there will be a total of 45 episodes down the road, unless it gets renewed after that. The Cuphead show is still a mixed bag of a show. A few dull and cliche episodes here and there, but some funny and crazy episodes as well. Overall, I thought Season 2 was funnier and more engaging than Season 1, and I look forward to seeing what else they will bring to the show. I wouldn't be surprised if they start bringing characters from the recently released Delicious Last Course DLC down the line. Well, that's all I have to show for now. Thank you for watching, see you next time, and have a great day.